Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.
The guy that could be our defense Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, or how do you say that? Hegseth. There was a confirmation hearing for Secretary of Defense. As I mentioned earlier, he was removed from President Biden's inauguration. He was labeled an extremist. He was one of a number of National Guard members ordered to stand down from Joe Biden's inauguration. This is according to CBS News, so it's a reputable source. Pete Hegseth served in both Iraq and Afghanistan during his time as a National Guard officer. In 2012, he announced he was running as a Republican in the primary for U.S. Senate for a seat in Minnesota. He dropped out before voting began in January of 2021. The Associated Press also reported 12 National Guards members had been removed from guarding President Biden's inauguration. This man was not trusted to preside over the president's detail, but he might be Secretary of Defense. And they had found links to, it wasn't just the tattoos, which we're going to talk about, right-wing militia groups. They found that he also posted views online in alignment with militia groups, white nationalists. He bears a Jerusalem cross tattoo, and it is so large across his body. It is so large and thick. He said it's a Christian symbol. He wrote about it. No, it's not. Because what folk have done is conflated Christianity with white nationalism. Or they made it one and the same. It is not. It is not. And I want to play a couple of clips of some of the Congress people who were questioning him, which I thought was should happen. I think he's going to get confirmed. It looks like the Republicans have the numbers to push him through, even though he is a white nationalist, confirmed. And I was talking about the tattoo that he had, the Jerusalem cross, which is one large cross symbolizing, they say, Jesus' crucifixion with an additional smaller cross in each quadrant. So it's a giant cross with smaller crosses in each quadrant of the cross, and that's called the Jerusalem cross. After Jerusalem was captured by the Muslims during the First Crusade of 1099, an independent Christian kingdom of Jerusalem was founded, lasting 200 years. So that's the origin of this Jerusalem cross. It was adopted as a symbol of the kingdom of Jerusalem, one of 4 independent states carved out of Palestine, Lebanon, this is ironic, Syria, and carved out by the Christian warriors following the First Crusade, which was when they beat people into becoming Christians and killed them. This is weird. So he has this giant symbol on his body. It is also associated with the Knights Templar, and the Crusader slogan, which was Deus Vult, Latin for God wills it. God wills it. Well, that phrase has been adopted by white nationalist terrorists. That's what I'm going to call them. And if the Democrats have said that Pete Hegseth is unfit to be Secretary of Defense, Joe Biden's administration said he was unfit to protect the president, he is now going to be our defense secretary. There's nothing we can do about it, but we should talk about it. We should talk about it. When we come back, I'm going to play a couple of clips from senators that are trying to hold the door and make sure that we at least get some insight. Won't say we didn't know. We have to send people to Congress who are going to fight like Tammy Duckworth was fighting today on our behalf. Tammy Duckworth, an actual military hero. She lost her limbs fighting for this country. She was questioning Pete Hegseth today. Play the clip.
Mr. Hegseth, what is the highest level of international negotiations that you have engaged in, that you have led in, because the Secretary of Defense does lead international security negotiations. There are three main ones that the Secretary of Defense leads and signs. Can you name at least one of them?
Could you repeat the question, Senator?
Sure. What is the highest level of international security agreement that you have led? And can you name some that the Secretary of Defense would lead? There's three main ones. Do you know?
I have not been involved in international security arrangements because I have not been in government other than serving in the military. So my job has been to
no. The answer is
lead men
can
and
you
women
name
in
one of the
combat.
three main ones that the
You're
Secretary
talking
of
about
Defense
defense
signs?
arrangements. I mean, NATO might be one that you're referring to.
Status of Forces Agreement would be one of them.
Status of Forces Agreement. I've been a part of teaching about Status of Forces Agreements.
But you don't
inside
remember to
Afghanistan.
mention it? You're not qualified, Mr. Hegseth. You're not qualified. You talk about repairing our defense industrial complex. You're not qualified to that. You could do acquisition and cross-servicing agreements, which essentially are security agreements. You can't even mention that.
Yeah, he's unqualified, but so is Trump. There will be a plethora of unqualified people in overseeing our food, overseeing our water, overseeing our air, overseeing Social Security, overseeing housing. There will be a plethora. Education, they're probably going to do away with that. We are going to be inundated with not just mediocrity. We're going to be inundated with unqualified people at the highest levels with nuclear codes. Okay? This is about to be interesting, to say the least. And thank you, Tammy Duckworth, because all she's pointing out is this. He will still probably be confirmed. He is unqualified for the position that he's going to be in. But so is everybody else, because unqualified people, misery loves company. They will surround themselves with people less qualified than them so that they're not, stood up. They don't want anyone to see them. So he's going to surround himself with people who are equally unqualified. They tried to get Matt Gaetz in there. That was crazy. But if we have people in Congress who are going to say no, like a Jasmine Crockett, who today stood up to Nancy Mace. Let's play this a short clip, and we're going to come back with it tomorrow.
Campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she going to keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not.
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I'm 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that.
Order.
I am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order.
I wish they would take it outside. Nancy Mace, you want to take it outside? You ain't bad Barbie. You would not be ready for the St. Louis, Texas by way of St. Louis. She said, let's take it outside. Nancy Mace, she's on the to-do list. Everyone who's living in South Carolina, Nancy Mace will be primaried, and she will not go back to Congress if we have something to say about it, and we do.
Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is Awesome, a new podcast from Karen Hunter.